Good afternoon and welcome to United TV. Today is April 26, 2024. My name is Kamal Erkan. This is our weekly update. As you are familiar with our format, we normally actually give a lot of updates. So Sean, if you want, you can join me. But today, in the last several weeks, we had a lot of guest speakers. We covered a lot of politicians. Last week, our governor, John Carney, was with us. And we have other guests coming, and we are focusing on those so that as the election is coming, so we are able to reach as many people as possible, and then those people, they can find information. And I think that's because of that. We are a little bit behind with our actual work that we have, which is one of them is the RCM updates. RCM is the revenue cycle management, and formerly known as medical billing. That's our core business from the ambulatory and the facilities. So we have been doing that for a long time with Oracle Health. Prior to Oracle, it used to be Cerner, and then Cerner was bought by Oracle a couple of years ago. Now we are under Oracle Health for our services for PM and EMR systems. And United Medical is one of the best implementer of those systems in the power chart setting, in the practice management, which is called in the old setting Millennium. So there's CPM, SPM, and there's nowhere else in the country knows those systems better than us.
Yeah, as well as we do.
So just because we do it every day, and that's kind of part of our core business.
Correct.
So and then part of the RCM services is the different parts of the RCM, how we do certain things, how we approach, and we use this for several different reasons. This platform. Of course, reaching out to potential clients, existing clients, and also sharing some of the knowledge with our employees throughout these. So, Sean, make sure that we share these videos with the employees after it's done, so they're in their own playlist. And today we are gonna cover the collection module of United Medical with Oracle Health, and one of my associate directors, Muriel Campos, is going to join me. Muriel.
Hi, Kamal. Thank you
Hey,
for
Muriel,
having
how are you
me.
doing?
Good. How are you?
Good. I give you a really good introduction, so you should be
Yeah.
in good mood now.
Yeah. Not nervous at all.
So, Muriel, we are going to do the collection module, and before that, I want to make sure that people understand this is one of your responsibilities, but this is one of your many responsibilities. So you are overseeing with the team that you have, our RCM teams, and that's our core business. So if you want to just give a quick background on you, and then we can start your presentation after that.
Sure, no problem. So, my name is Muriel Campos. I'm one of the associate directors here at United Medical. I've been with United Medical for a long time now. Definitely over 10 years. I stopped counting after a while. But yes, I do have a couple of client managers that I supervise from the AR side, and then I also oversee the collections team, and I also co-manage the payment posting team with our other associate director. So I do have a couple different hats at United Medical, but it's always fun. It's always interesting.
That's good to have you. So we can start with the collection module. Collection is part of the process that we go through. United Medical is not a collection agency, but we do have third-party companies that we have agreements with. The presentation that we are going to share is the pre-collection process. So before we turn anyone into collection, what process we go through and what we expect from our clients, and why collection is extremely important for the flow of the patient and then accurate account balances. So now, Muriel, we are with you now.
Okay, I can share my presentation. Okay, so I just put a couple slides just to kind of summarize the process and the workflow that the collections team members go through. So right here, I just kind of created a little wheel of some of the main points. So basically, for the collections team workflow, one of the first steps is, of course, generating a report on the overdue patient balances. That information is pulled from the practice management systems. So we have SPM and CPM. And then after that, it is transferred into our main hub, QuickBase, where we pull all information, we work all the information from there. And then what the team goes through is kind of what we call a pre-work process. So during that process, they verify statements, the appropriate amount of statements were sent. They verify to make sure it's not, there's no insurance related issues. There's like no special messages or alerts that maybe the offices have put in for us. They're not Medicaid patients, active Medicaid patients for those balances and dates of services. So kind of those preliminary reviews that the team members do. Once they go through that, we then send the list of eligible accounts over to the clients. The clients review it and they send back their reports to us with the accounts that they do approve to go to the collection agencies. Once we get that back, then the files are actually transferred over to the collection agency. So in this one, I kind of already went over it, but what the pre-work process is. So again, just making sure the appropriate amount of statements were received and sent. There's like no special issues or circumstances on the accounts. They're not active Medicaid patients for those dates of services and balances. When the accounts are ready to be transferred to the collection agencies, so at that point, we've already received the approvals from the clients. What the team will do is they'll make collections transfer adjustments in the practice management systems. And that's really to indicate that those balances are now with the responsibility of the agency. Along with that, we also add alerts on the accounts saying that so-and-so balance has been sent to the agency. This is the number for the collection agency that if the patient ends up calling us or the clients, they have that information there readily available. And then also, like I said, all the approved accounts are sent to the collection agency for further processing, and then the collection agency takes over and they do their work on the accounts that they receive, on the placements that they receive. Along with that, we also have a couple other steps that we do on the collections team side. So if patients end up paying with the clients directly, or if they call us and they're adamant that they want to pay over the phone, today, then we'll take that payment. We'll report that information over to the agencies. And we also get a monthly list of accounts from the collection agencies on patients that have made payments, as well as patients that have paid with the clients as well, as long as it's reported to the agencies. We also handle any additional information requests that we receive from the agencies. Oftentimes we'll get notifications from the agencies saying that a patient disputed a balance or they disputed the validity of the balance. So we've validate that information. We send over the proof of all the statements that were sent, where the balances are coming from and why and things like that. So it's also a couple of the other responsibilities of the collections team. And then here I just have a quick little listing of some of the agencies that we work with. We primarily work with Waterfall Revenue Group. They're the agency that handles most of the clients that participate with the collections process. But we also have a few others that a couple of the other clients from different states work with. So like, for example, Wakefield, Hella Recovery, and George Brown and Associates. So just to summarize all this, why does this information matter? The longer a debt sits unpaid, the lower the chance of collecting. So the workflow is not only important from the point that we get it, but it's also important from the client front end point. If the office, for example, is not collecting on the balances when the patients come in, they just keep accumulating, and then we get that information on the collections list. And if the balance is super old, then there's a harder chance or a higher likelihood of it not being collected. The overdue patient balances also affect days in AR, so the overall health of the client account can also be impacted because of monies that remain uncollected. And overall, patient balances are still monies that's due to the provider. So if the provider is not able to collect on that, provider's office is not able to collect on it, then it's like the provider essentially didn't get fully paid for their services that they gave the patient. So that's why it matters. And I think that's it for my little presentation. I can't hear you, Kamal.
I'm not used to the mute, so then
Yeah,
I'm muting myself. So, well, thank you for that presentation. So
sure.
the for medical practices, medical facilities, every module is extremely important, but the collection part does have a different impact. One is these are the actual dollar amounts that's not being paid in the full payments. So either partially or fully, these are actual payments to the practices. This is going to impact the financial sustainability of these practices. The cash flow management is important. It can become a nightmare if it's not done correctly, and if you are not able to have these routine monthly or bi-monthly or every 2 months type of collection activities, so then you can clean up the PM system, then if you don't do that, it's going to actually have impact on the workflow with the patients, so with the appointments and other things. And then how much time we spend, how much time practices allocate for these types of expenses, it's going to be really important for practices to follow. Now, there's also legal ramifications. So we have to charge patients the same amount that we are charging to the insurances. We cannot charge them less than Medicare. And if you use this way of just offsetting them, adjusting them without trying to collect these balances, that also has some legal implications. And at the end of the day, this is the practice's income. So today we are going to talk about hospital revenues, net profits, and then when you look at from medical practices, especially from the ambulatory settings, you'll understand that these are extremely important parts of the practice's income. So you can't really afford losing these, and you have to have system in process. And that's why we at United Medical have this module we take it very seriously, and I know your team is working on that on a regular basis. So Muriel, thank you so much for joining us today. So we'll continue covering our other regular updates. Sean is going to join me, so we'll see you again next time.
Thank you, Kamal, for having me. Have a great day.
Bye-bye.
Bye.